in progress.
Good to know.
How are you, please?
Good, good.
Yeah, 8:00.
I texted Mario because didn't put it on the WhatsApp.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I'm wondering, we're gonna,
Oh, here's Mario.
Hello.
Good to know. How are you, Mario?
Once the clock is changed, do we change to Sunday?
Sunday, right?
Tonight at 2:00, it jumps to 3:00.
Well, you have to get up at 2 in the morning to do it.
2:00, less than an hour.
Right.
Yeah.
Do we change to Sunday, or what time does he change?
I don't know.
Changes. Okay, we'll find out.
Have to find out.
Oh, for the shear. Oh, that's different.
Mm-hmm. Okay, whenever.
Yeah. No. I'm sorry, it's too late. It's too late. It's too late.
Somebody wanted money?
Yeah. I said,
Wow.
They want to give you money?
I wish.
Do you find that in your door, people knock on your door more often and offer most?
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah, because the whole street is from.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. It was better on Highland. We were more incognito. It's fine.
Good week. Happy Purim.
Happy Purim.
Okay, what's up, everybody?
Shavuot Tov.
We are in Melachim Beis, Perek Kaf Daled Pasuk Yud Ches. Ben 21 Shana Tzidkiyahu b'Malcho. Tzidkiyahu was 21 years old when he became king. Be'echadesrei Shana Malach Yerushalayim. He is the last king of Yehuda, ruled for 11 years. Shem Imo, Chamutal bat Yirmiyahu milivna. Pasuk Yutes. Vayasa Rabbi Hashem, Kechol asher asa Yehoyakim. He did evil the same way that Yehoyakim did. So there's a Gemara in Erech in Yud Zayin Amud Aleph. Amar Rav Yochanan, Mishum Rav Shem ben Yochai. My dichsiv bereshis mamlachus Yehoyakim melech Yudah. What was written in the beginning when Yehoyakim was melech? Bikesh HaKadosh Baruch Hu lahazir et ha'olam l'tov avo. Bishvil Yehoyakim. Yehoyakim was so Rasha that HaKadosh Baruch Hu wanted to return the world to tov avo. Kivin shnistakel bedoro nisyash v'daito. But his generation, there were tzaddikim in his generation, so HaKadosh Baruch Hu cooled off. Bikesh HaKadosh Baruch Hu lahazir et ha'olam l'tov avo mipnei dor shel Tzidkiyahu, just the opposite. In the time of Tzidkiyahu HaMelech, HaKadosh Baruch Hu wanted to return the generations of tov avo. Kivin shnistakel b'Tzidkiyahu nisyash v'daito. But when he looked at Tzidkiyahu HaMelech, HaKadosh Baruch Hu changed his mind because Tzidkiyahu was such a tzaddik. So we're bringing this because right now the Pasuk seems to suggest that Tzidkiyahu was a Rasha. So the Marsha explains, the Doro shel Yehoyakim hayu tzaddikim. Ikulam hayu be'eretz Yisrael dadayin lo galu. The generation of Yehoyakim, there were still tzaddikim there, they hadn't been exiled. Like later on, Nebuchadnezzar exiled the tzaddikim with Yechonia, Melech Yudah, like we talked about, the Cheresh and the Mashger. Aval b'Tzidkiyahu, shaya Melech Yerushalayim, hayala achar haCheresh ve'Mashger. Tzidkiyahu is the Melech now after the Sanhedrin and the tzaddikim and the Chachamim and everybody has been taken to exile to Bavel. The Az Kfar Galut Kol HaChachamim v'Tzaddikim. Lo nishar sham shum tzaddikim vayu kulam rishayim. Except, so Tzidkiyahu, in relation to the door, was a tzaddik. However, the Torah refers to him that he did bad. So what were his chatoim? So if you look in the Malbim, but the Malbim will explain that lo nichna lifnei Yirmiyahu Navi mipi Hashem. That both in Divrei Hayomim, we don't have these psukim here, but in Divrei Hayomim in Yirmiyahu Navi it says, Vayomer Yirmiyahu el Tzidkiyahu. Yirmiyahu Navi, who is warning the people that there's going to be a korban, tells Tzidkiyahu, Kol Amar Hashem Elokei Tzvakos, Elokei Yisrael, Im Yatzot Tetzei El Sarei Melech Bavel. If you go out to greet the officers of the Babylonians, V'chaysa nafshecha ve'er azot lo tisref ba'er, ba'esh v'chaysa tov v'secha. Yirmiyahu advised Tzidkiyahu to negotiate peace with Nebuchadnezzar. V'im lo teitzel sarei melech Bavel. But if you are not machnia yourself, v'nitna ha'ir azot b'yad ha'kazdim, I'm going to give this city to the Babylonians, usrafu ba'esh, and they will burn it. Ve'atalo timalet miyadam. So, vayomer HaMelech Tzidkiyahu el Yirmiyahu, ani do'eget ha'Yehudim asher naflu la'kazdim pen yitnu oti biyadam v'talu bi. So Tzidkiyahu told Yirmiyahu he's going to refuse to sort of machnia, surrender himself to the Kazdim. V'chutz mechet ze lo chata, the Malbim says. Besides that sin, Tzidkiyahu did not sin. Aval bezeh, shlo shama lidvar navi mipi Hashem, then, and we're going to learn something coming up, V'sha'avar al shvuat Nebuchadnezzar. Nebuchadnezzar, in his dealings with Tzidkiyahu Melech, at some point is going to make him take a shvua not to reveal a certain thing that Tzidkiyahu saw Nebuchadnezzar do. And in the end, Tzidkiyahu did reveal it. So these were the two chatoim of Tzidkiyahu. Aval b'toavotav animtzal aval Yehoyakim lo ira lasod. He did not act in the abominable way that Yehoyakim did regarding Avodah Zarah. The Malbim continues to question, then how does it say in the Pasuk, Vayas hara b'nei Hashem k'chol asher asa Yehoyakim? Ask the Malbim, Heich medama pasuk Tzidkiyahu shayat tzadik leYokim shaya Rasha. How does the Torah in this pasuk compare Tzidkiyahu was a tzaddik to Yehoyakim? So the Kimosho explains the Malbim. Kimosho Yokim Marab Melech Bavel. Yehoyakim also rebelled against Nebuchadnezzar. So too, Kach Tzidkiyahu Marad. And the Dover Zaya Be'emet Rabbi Hashem. But that was raw in God's eyes, because he wanted him to listen to Yirmiyahu, to be machniya to that king, but he didn't do it. Al-Vadai says the Malbim she'ein Tzidkiyahu domeli Yehoyakim b'rishaso. Certainly Tzidkiyahu was a tzaddik compared to the rishus of Yehoyakim. Pasuk Chaf. Ki al-af Hashem Isab Yushalam of Yudah. Above everything, there was tremendous anger by Hashem towards Yerushalayim and Yehuda. Ad ishlichota mal panav, vayimrod Tzidkiyahu b'melech Bavel. Tzidkiyahu decides to rebel against the Babylonian king. And because Hashem was so angry with Klal Yisrael, he was not there to protect them. And in fact, the Meforshim say Hashem is the one who put this idea to rebel in the heart of Tzidkiyahu. So it would be the reason for the eventual Golus. There is a medrash in Eicha Rabbah. Amar Abelazar Altahi Parshanas Nadarim Kala Be'einecha. You should not treat the parsha which describes making vows. You shouldn't treat this parsha lightly. Shayadei Parshas Nadarim Nergu Sanhedrin Gedolah Shel Tzidkiyahu. Because of this issue of vows, the Sanhedrin of Tzidkiyahu were all killed. By the way, the Parshas Matos Maseh, which has the Parsha of Nadarim in it, always falls within the 3 weeks. It's usually right before Tisha B'Av. It's there for a reason. As Chazal say, they see a problem with Nadarim leading to the Churban. Explains the Medrash. Lefi kishegalu Yechania Minei Melech Nebuchadnezzar Chamisha Melachim. When HaKadosh Baruch Hu took Yechania into Galus, he appointed over him 5 Melachim. Like it says in Yirmiyahu, V'shilachtem el Melech Edom, ve'el Melech Moav, ve'el Melech Bnei Ammon, ve'el Melech Tzor, ve'el Melech Tzidon, b'yad Malachim abayim Yerushalayim el Tzidkiyahu Melech Yudah. So there was a delegation of these 5 kings that were sent to Tzidkiyahu. Yom Echad Ali Legavei. Tzidkiyahu visited with Nebuchadnezzar. The Ashkechei the Tolish Basar Arnava v'Achel Kishuchai. Tzidkiyahu saw Nebuchadnezzar tearing meat from a rabbit and eating it while the rabbit was alive. Omer le Nebuchadnezzar told Tzidkiyahu ishtabali, the lesat mefursim ishtabali. Nebuchadnezzar made Tzidkiyahu swear not to reveal this. It made him look embarrassing, and Tzidkiyahu swore. He took the oath on the Mizbeach, the inner Mizbeach. These 5 kings were sitting and talking about Nebuchadnezzar in front of Tzidkiyahu. Rather than, I'm here. This is the Gemara I wanted to learn. Sanhedrin Samech Hey. Sorry. Let's see. Sanhedrin Samech Hey. This Gemara explains this shvua that we're saying because of the Nedorim, the violation of the Nedorim led to the Churban. That we said Tzidkiyahu found Nebuchadnezzar eating a live rabbit, and he was ashamed about it. So he took an oath. Nebuchadnezzar told Tzidkiyahu, take an oath that he will not reveal that in public. And Tzidkiyahu took it. L'sof it starts Tzidkiyahu b'gufei. Tzidkiyahu later was suffering, I guess, physical ailments. You know, sometimes when you know a juicy piece of Lashon Hara and you can't reveal it, it makes you feel bad. It shel hashvuusei. So he went to the Sanhedrin. When you have a neder and you want to get out of the neder, you need Bezdin to be matir neder. They can nullify the oath. And the Sanhedrin agreed, and they nullified the oath. V'omar shama Nebuchadnezzar dekom vazin lei. After the Sanhedrin revealed the oath, nullified the oath, he told the story to everybody that Nebuchadnezzar was eating raw rabbit. And Nebuchadnezzar heard about it. And he was being ridiculed. Sholach v'aisi Sanhedrin v'Tzidkiyahu. So Nebuchadnezzar sent for Sanhedrin and Tzidkiyahu. Armelon chazis my kovit Tzidkiyahu. Nebuchadnezzar asked the Sanhedrin, you see what Tzidkiyahu has done? Lav hachi ishtaba b'shmo d'shmai lo megalya. You know that he took an oath in the name of Hashem not to reveal what he had seen. So the Sanhedrin responded, yeah, but he asked us to dissolve and nullify the neder. So Nebuchadnezzar asked the Sanhedrin, he never knew that. Oh, so you can get rid of a neder through asking Sanhedrin to nullify it? Amri in. So they said yes. Amrilu b'fanav afilu shelo b'fanav. Do you have to do it in front of the person who took the oath, or can you undo it even not in his presence? Amri le b'fanav. No, he has to be present for us to nullify it. So Amr lahan. So Nebuchadnezzar said to the Sanhedrin, V'ason maya v'ditilin. So he asked the Sanhedrin, why did you do what you did? My time alone recently said, that means the oath Nebuchadnezzar should have been there as well. The people who were involved in the oath, it had to be done in both people's presence. And he asked the Sanhedrin, how come you didn't do that? Miyad yeshvul aretz yidmu ziknei bas Tzion. That's a pasuk in Eicha, where they removed the pillows that they were sitting in to sit on the ground. It was a sign that they had made a mistake in halacha. So it's this lack of adherence to the oath that led him to kill the Sanhedrin. The Ran, from here, discusses whether or not you need both parties. From here, the halacha is. But certainly the Medrash and the Gemara learns that it was not appropriate for Tzidkiot to reveal what he had seen. It was embarrassing to Nebuchadnezzar. Let's start Perek Chafei, the last Perek in Melachim Beis. Remember, we have other details about this.
Ernie, sorry,
Yes.
why would he be embarrassed if that, I mean, it's Abram and Achai, but it doesn't mean he observed it. Why would he be embarrassed? If
Well,
that's nature.
Well, part of the Sheva Mitzvahs Bnei Noach is not to eat Avram and Achai.
And he was part of that.
He's a Ben Noach.
Why did he care?
Yeah.
And I guess it shows that you're a glutton. I mean, I guess,
Barbarian.
So you're
it's-
but
Huh?
Savage. Like a savage.
yeah, it was, that was an embarrassing
Like an
thing.
animal.
Okay. Well,
Remember, Yirmiyahu and Yechezkel also are around in these years, and there's a lot of data from Yirmiyahu and Yechezkel as well. This nevuah that we're going to be reading now is in Sefer Yirmiyahu Perek Nun Aleph. Vayi bishnat hatshi'it lemalcho. In the 9th year of Yitzchak's reign, b'chodesh Asiri, that's Teves, be'asar lachodesh, on Asar b'Teves, ba Nebuchadnezzar melech Bavel, hu v'kol chelo al Yerushalayim, v'yichan aleh. Nebuchadnezzar comes with his army, and he surrounds it, v'yivnu aleh daik saviv. And he builds, these siege works against the city. And this is Asar B'Teves. In Yechezkel, Perek Chaf Daled, it says, Vayidvar Hashem Elai, Bashanat She'it, same thing, the 9th year of Tzidkiyahu's reign, B'chodesh Asiri, Be'asor LaChodesh Lemor, Ben Adam. As we know, in Sefer Yechezkel, many times, Yechezkel is referred to as Ben Adam. Ksav L'cha es Shem Hayom, es Etzem Hayom Hazeh. Samach Melech Bavel Yerushalayim be'etzem Hayom Hazeh. So twice in the pasuk, etzem Hayom Hazeh means mamish on this day, in the middle of the day. There's only one other place when it describes Yom Kippur. It also says be'etzem Hayom Hazeh. So in the Chidushei Rav Chaim Brisker, he brings the following. He brings the Beis Yosef, who's the commentary on the tour of Yosef Karo, writes, Kosav B'Shem Avudram. The Avudram was an early Rishon. Some of our Machzorim and Sidurim come from the Avudram. The Imayav Shar Sheichol Asar B'Tevis B'Shabbos, Hayu Misanin Afilu B'Shabbos. When the months were Rosh Chodesh was established based on Eidim, and we didn't have a fixed calendar, and there would be a possibility that Asar B'Tevis would land on Shabbos, he says you'd have to fast even on Shabbos. Now we know Yud Zayin Tammuz many times falls on Shabbos, Tisha B'Av falls on Shabbos, some Gedai. We are nitche. We push it away. We don't fast on Shabbos. Only one time do we fast, which is Yom Kippur, because there it says also be'etzem hayom hazeh. So because this pasuk describes, at least in Yechezkel, that Asar B'Tevis, that Nebuchadnezzar arrived be'etzem hayom hazeh, so The Beis Yosef says, Kamo b'yom kippur. Ela shena yachol lachol b'Shabbos. The way we fixed our calendars today, Asar B'Tevis will never fall on Shabbos. So, asked Rav Chaim, Tzorech Bir, Ma'ishna Asar B'Tevis Mishar Taniyos. Why is Asar B'Tevis different than all the other fasts? Says Rav Chaim, V'nei Tanit Chalom Mitanim Afilu B'Shabbat. Somebody Friday night has a very bad dream. So there's something called Tainis Chalom. If you have something appears in your dream and you don't want it to occur, you can fast. And that will prevent whatever the bad thing you had in your dream from occurring. So if it happens, you have to do the Tainis immediately the next day. So if the bad dream occurred Friday night, you can fast even on Shabbos. Chazina mizeh d'shayach Tainis b'Shabbos. Says Rav Chaim that we see that there is a connection. You can fast on Shabbos. When it comes to a fast that's commemorating in the past, you can fast the next day. Sunday as well will work. Lama yisanu b'Shabbos. Avalim hayat tzarich litanot davka b'Shabbat. But if there was some reason you had to do it on Shabbos, and you would not be able to push it away to the next day. Rav Chaim brings from the example of Tainis Chalom that there is a shaychus to fasting on Shabbos. Lefichach b'tanit Chalom, Darminan b'Gemor Shabbos Yud Aleph Amud Beis, the Yafel leChalom kishmisanin davka bo bayom. That in order to avert whatever bad is going to occur from the dream, you have to do it that day, immediately following the night you dreamed. Ve'ein litchotol machar. That tinus you're not supposed to push away to the next day. Lachein mitanin shapir b'Shabbat. That's why we fast the tinus chalom even on Shabbos. Says Rav Chaim, Zeu achiluk ben asar b'tevis l'chol taniyos. This is the difference between asar b'tevis and all the other fasts. Chol taniyos misanim b'deyamu or sheiru. All the other fasts were fasting for the past. They happened on such and such day, Yud Zayin B'Tammuz, in that year, so we commemorated. But, says Rav Chaim, Tolui b'chodesh. It's not necessarily related to the day. It's related to the month. Because in Sefer Zechariah, Perek Ches, Pasuk Yud Tes, it says, Tzoma Revi, V'tzoma Chamishi, V'tzoma Shvi, V'tzoma Asiri. There the Navi says these fast days in the future are going to become Yomim Tovim. Now, Tzoma Revi is Yud Zayin Tammuz. The fourth month is Tammuz. Tzoma Chamishi is Av. Tzoma Shvi is Tzom Gedalia. The seventh month is Tishrei. The Tzoma Asiri is Teves. Imkein Yecholim Litanot Gam L'Machar. So it's lot, and then this comes from the Minchas Chinuch, who says that if you fasted any day in that month, let's say you didn't fast Yud Zayin Tammuz, you could fast another day, and you would fulfill the same thing because the Nevi'im talked about months, not the specific day. Therefore, those fasts. Lachein keshachal b'Shabbos nidchal ha'mochar. Al v'basar b'teves. D'chsiv be'etzem hayom hazeh. There it is the only fast where it talks about this specific day. Im kain hu din davke ba'os hayom. V'korcha yefshar l'tchos l'mochar. And now we understand why mamish, if asar b'teves would fall on Shabbos, we'd have to fast on Shabbos as well. Now, there was a mashgiach, Rav Matisyahu Shalom, who was the mashgiach in the Lakewood Yeshiva. The EA Ayam brings from the mashgiach Rav Matisyahu that ein tainis doicha Shabbos chutz mitainis chalom. No other tainis pushes away Shabbos except for tainis chalom. The kaimelon de misana tainis chalom b'Shabbos. We know that you you can do a fast to cure a chalom on Shabbos. Tzarich lavin ma nishtane tanis chalom shedochas haShabbos. We have to understand why should a tanis chalom be doiches Shabbos? Mikol shar taniyos she'ein doiches. So he brings the Chassam Sofer. The chol taniyos ba'im ala avar. Those, some Gedalia, all of these other fasts, they come to commemorate something that happened in the past. Kedeshin iskar tzarot shavru aleinu v'alavotenu. So we should be reminded about the tzaras that our forefathers went through. V'kavu tanis kedei or er otanu l'tshuva. And the point of the tanis is to bring us to do tshuva. U'leficha kedei shelo lafriya oneg v'kavod Shabbos. But we don't want the fasting to contradict the oineg and covered for Shabbos. Dochel chachamim satanis ad yom rishon. They push it to Sunday. Ki gam yeh yisoros l'tshuva ki ilu yisana b'Shabbos atzmo. That's also going to lead to tshuva as if you fasted on the right day. Aval tainus chalom ein bo al avar, ela al atid. You dreamt something that something's going to happen to you. So this is something that is for the future, not for the past. Something bad was told to you in the dream. You're fasting to be saved from the bad stuff that's happening to you in the future. So Chazal told us we're allowed to fast on Shabbos for Tainus Chalom. And we'll have compassion and mercy on us. If we wouldn't let him to fast right away, he's going to have a terrible Oinig Shabbos if you didn't let him fast. So what's the comparison, says Rav Matisyahu, to Asor B'Teves? Tzarich litbonen al tanis Asor B'Teves dehukva machmas hatzor she'ira. As the Samach Melech Bavel Yushalayim. We are also fasting for something that happened in the past, that Nebuchadnezzar came and surrounded Yerushalayim. But not really. Be'emet lo ira az Yisrael shum tzara. It took 3 years. The siege is going to be 3 years until it's actuated in the Churban. It's just rak hagdama l'Churban habayis. The ilu asu tshuva az, the Yalkut Shimoni says in Eicha, himtin lahem shalosh shonim shiachzru b'tshuva. Even at this late stage, HaKadosh Baruch Hu had Nebuchadnezzar come 3 years earlier in order to have Klal Yisrael do tshuva. And even at that last stage, the Churban could have been prevented. Dahainu ilu lachu musar Hashem sheshalach lehem ayidei smichas melech Bavel. If the people would have taken the proper lesson for Musar, realizing that Nebuchadnezzar is surrounding our city, and they did tshuva, lo haya nechrav beis hamikdash. This has happened before with Sancheiriv and Chizkiah Melech, where they were saved even at the last moment. Says Rav Matisyahu, mamash ketanit chalom shemetanim b'Shabbos she'ilu hisanu az v'asu tshuva yamoyel shlo yichar beis hamikdash. It's also something for the future. If they would have done tshuva, it would have prevented something bad from happening later. It's that they didn't do tshuva for the future. Just like we said, that the person doesn't want to push the chalom, the tainus chalom away, we don't want to push this away either. So that gives us a better understanding in why Asar B'Tevis is different.
In Shiva B'Tammuz,
Shiva B'Tammuz was actually something bad happened because the walls were broken in and they started killing people. So that's sort of the beginning of the Churban, the beginning of the end. But here explains Matisyahu based on the Yalkut, they could have averted the whole Churban if they did Tshuva by Asar B'Tevis. And that's why it's similar to the Tainus Chalom. So, in another one of the drushes of the Chassam Sofer, he asks on this Bahag in that says Shasar B'Tevis Yidchas HaShabbos, that Asar B'Tevis Hayayom HaMatzor V'Hayarak Hatchalat HaTzara. Asar B'Tevis is just the beginning. In King, Heich Yiyeh Yoter Chamor M'Tisha B'Av. How can Asar B'Tevis be more strict than Tisha B'Av? Shehi Atzuma Shel HaChurban Ve'ena Dorcha Shabbos. If Tisha B'Av falls on Shabbos, and that happens in our calendar, we push it off to Sunday. Well, why are we treating Asar B'Tevis more chomerdik than Tisha B'Av itself? That's question number one. Odiksha, lama gazru tanis al-matzor zeh. Now, why is it, this isn't the first time that they laid siege to Jerusalem. Remember during Sancheir, they also had a siege. V'lo gazru al shum matzor acher. We have no other tanesim for any other sieges. Even during Yoshiyahu's time, Paro made a siege. V'tirez. He gives an answer. Mishum shva'osa yom shesamach melech bavel Yerushalayim yashvu beitin shel mala bedin. A new concept. We have Beis Din shel mata, right? Sanhedrin is the human Beis Din. And we have a Beis Din shel mala, which, like we daven on Yom Kippur, by the Kol Nidrei, Beis Din shel mala. V'hayu elu maiminin ve'elu masmilin. Up in Shamayim, there were those who were voting for destruction, and those that were voting to save. V'gavra masmilim v'nechrav habayis. And the left, that's how the Medrash describes them, were larger, and they won out, and Beis HaMikdash was destroyed. So listen to what the Chassam Sofer says. V'hinei ein lecha shana she'ein kilalosa meruba mechaverta. There is no year that the curse remains. The choldor shelo nivne Beis HaMikdash b'yamav ki'ilu nechrav b'yamav. Any generation where the Beis HaMikdash is not rebuilt in your lifetime, it's as if it was destroyed in your lifetime. That's a Yerushalmi Yuma. Nimtza shebechol shana v'shana nischadesh churban chadash. Every year it's a new churban. V'zeu b'chol pan kishigir osra yom shel Asar B'Teves. Whenever this day of Asar B'Teves comes, shematchil az lamala mishpat hachurban shel kol shana v'shana. The same Beis Din shel mala sits down and says, are we going to have Mashiach or not? Nimtza. Shema she'anu misanim b'Asar B'Teves hu l'shem tshuva k'tei limnoch churban habayis b'shana zu. We're actually trying to prevent by fasting on Asar B'Teves, and even if it had it on Shabbos, because now we're trying to prevent the churban of this year, which is a tinus of the future, like a tinus chalom. And that's why Asar B'Teves is doicha Shabbos, even though Tisha B'Av it doesn't. So a lot of good questions, a lot of good answers. Pasuk, any comments? No. Pasuk Beis. Vatavo ha'ir b'matzor. So the city is now under siege. Ad ashteas reishon al melech Tzidkiyahu. So it's the 9th year, 10th year, and 11th year. So the siege lasts for 3 years until the 11th year of the reign of Tzidkiyahu. Pasuk Gimel. B'tisha lachodesh. Now we're talking about Chodesh Av. In the 9th, now we're talking about the month of Tammuz. B'tisha lachodesh, v'yechazak ha'ra'av ba'ir. The famine, which had been going on for 3 years, became overwhelming. V'lo haya lechem la'amaretz, and there was no bread. So in Sefer Yirmiyahu, in Perek Nun Beis, Pasuk Vav, it says, B'chodesh ha'revi'i b'tisha lachodesh. So the 4th month is Tammuz. And that was in the year 3338. And that's the year of the Churban. We're in 5,887. Is that right? So 3338 is the year of the Churban. Now, we always understood that the wall broke on Yud Zayin Tammuz. Here, it says it happened on the 9th of Tammuz. Now, the siege, say the Meforshim, was really only a year and a half. Because for kings, you enter a new year by Nisan. That's if you learn Masechta Rosh Hashanah. So from Teves until Nisan, that was already 1 year. And then Nisan to the 10th year is the next year. And then from Nisan to Tammuz is like a half a year. So it was really, in the 11th year of the reign, it took place in the 3rd year after he came, but it was about a year and a half. So we fast on the 17th of Tammuz. Here the Pasuk says that the problem happened on the 9th. Tosfos says in Rosh Hashanah Yud Ches Amud Beis, Zeh Tisha b'Tammuz shebo huvka'a ir. On the 9th of Tammuz, the walls crumble. Demad ksiv b'Tisha lachodesh, hainu b'churban bayis harishon, aval b'bayis hasheni huvka'a b'Yud Zayin. So, in Bayis Rishon, the walls collapsed on the 9th of Tammuz. In Bayis Sheni, it collapsed on the 17th of Tammuz. Mishum hachi avdinan b'Yud Zayin Tammuz. So, says Tosfos, Ki kevan shenivneh shuv Beit HaMikdash achar churban harishon, the Beit HaMikdash was rebuilt after 70 years of Golus in Babylonia. So for us, the Hatzara lanu hu churban bayis hasheni. For us who live in this period, the churban that is more poignant to us is churban bayis sheni, which happened on Yud Zayin. The Ritva says that just like we learned in Sefer Zechariah, Koam Hashem Tzvakot, Tzomar Aviv, Tzomar Chamishi, Tzomar Shviv, Tzomar Asiri, Yiyeh lebeit Yehuda l'sason u'simcha, l'moadim tovim v'amet v'sholom ahavu. So, again, like the Minchas Chinuch learns, it's a tiniest b'chodesh hazeh, v'lo b'yom ha'furat. You have to fast in the 4th month. It's not a specific day. So, by fasting on Yud Zayin Tammuz, we're makayim the Tzomar Avi, even though the wall was breached on the 9th. Now, the Tosfos goes on that there's a baraisa in the Yerushalmi where it says Yud Zayin b'Tammuz. Af agav d'ksiv b'kra b'tisha l'chodesh. This is an amazing piece in Tosfos. Tosfos is saying that it really occurred Yud Zayin Tammuz, even though the Pasuk wrote it as the 9th. Kilkul cheshbonos hayusham. They got mixed up with the numbers. So the Yerushalmi is arguing upolig ashas tidan, right? The Talmud Bavli is arguing with the Yerushalmi. And the Yerushalmi basically is saying, Rotzolomer, demitoch tir datam ta'u b'cheshbonam. Because they're running around being chased and being murdered, etc., they made a mistake in the calculation. V'lo ratzah pasuk l'shanot mikamo shayu sforim. It says Tosfos tzarich and ech shaykh lomar shapasuk shenemar al pi nevuah because of a tarich amiti. Why would the Navi not write the correct date? Shomati lefaresh. Ki kishadam b'tzara kashem od lo ledat tarich v'sha'ah. When someone really is in a terrible tsaris, you're not aware specifically of the date and the time. Ki kol machshavatam urak al tsarotam al ravatam, their famine, v'al sheinam ro'im shum yeshuat mitzaratam. Listen to what the Iyeh Hayam says. Kein haya lemashal b'machanot hashmad b'milchama u'lamit hashenit etzel hanatzim yimashmam. So too, our relatives that experienced the Holocaust in the concentration camps, shashvuyim b'derech klal sham lo yadu me'uma be'ada tarich. They didn't know the dates. My father was taken to Auschwitz September 9th, 1942, and was liberated from Dachau April 29th, 1945. Did he know when Yom Kippur was? Did he know Matayu Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, or Shum Yom Prati? That it was impossible for our prisoners to know exactly when the dates were. This gives us a sense what was going on, B'Shas HaChorban. So the Navi wrote the date that they thought, that the people thought it was, but it was not correct. It teaches us this whole lesson, that in an 8 Sarah, you may not be able to know exactly the dates. I said before, the Yalkut Shimoni in Eicha Taf Reish Tes, HaKadosh Baruch Hu himtin b'zeh shalosh shanim. We said it wasn't exactly 3 years full. Kedei litin liYisrael zman lasos tshuva. V'ilo chazru lo haya beis hamidrash nech ravaz. Maybe it would have been destroyed later, but it wouldn't be destroyed then. And the Yalkut says like this: Kishabao sorosha imam lachim liYushalayim lilachtan bizman muad. He came with the other kings that we mentioned to destroy it. HaKadosh Baruch Hu mechazek es anshe Yerushalayim ad hashana shlishis. HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave power to the people in Jerusalem at that time to hold out. Ulai yachzaru b'tshuva. V'hayu giborim b'Yerushalayim ad ein cheker. There were heroes. V'hayu nilchamim im hakazdim u'mapilim mehem chalalim arbei. And they were fighting, and they caused tremendous casualties among the Babylonians. Hayasham gibor echad ushmo Avika ben Gaftari. It was the name of a certain gibor, because shayu anshe achayil mekalim bavanim gdolot. When the Babylonian soldiers would throw stones, la pila choma ya mekablim biyado, he would catch them, umashlichin al bnei achayil v'horeg mehem arba. He would throw it back and kill many people. Ad she'eschil kabel avanim b'raglo v'yam achzrim l'chayil. But the garama avon ubata haruach v'piltom nachama. He was up on the wall, and the wind blew him off, and that was it. When he was killed, that's when the walls broke. Pasuk Dalet, Vatibaka ha'ir, and the walls split. V'chol anshe milchama laila derech shar beit hachomotayim, asher gan hamelech v'chazdim al ha'ir saviv v'yelech derech harava. The Jewish soldiers, by the way, the Lashon Tibaka is Lashon Nifal, as if the walls collapsed by themselves. In a sense, because the people of Yerushalayim were weak of hunger, they couldn't stand anymore. Now, once the Anshe HaMilchama saw that the walls collapsed, they escaped. Yatsu derech hashar, shayu bein shtei hachomos baseser, shlo yagishu behem hakazdim. This pasuk describes there were multiple walls. I guess in the inner walls, bein hachomotayim, on the roof, they were able to escape. While the Kazdim were still surrounding the city. And the Meforshim say, when it says, Vayelech, it includes even the king. Derech Arava. So we know, we sing Chazar. When Naomi Shemer, after the 6-day war, she composed Yerushalayim Shazahav, Chazarnu El Borot HaMayim, and then it says, Nashuv Nered Al Yam HaMelech B'derech Yericho. That's what we're talking about, that there was the back way out of East Jerusalem takes you directly to the Yam HaMelech via Yericho. How do we know this? Because in Yirmiyahu, Perek Lamed Tes, it says, Vayi kasher ra'am tzidkiyahu melech Yehuda v'chol anshe milchama, when they saw that the Kazdim are now entering the city, vayivrechu vayetzu laila min ha'ir derech Gag HaMelech b'shar ben HaMachasayim derech Arava. Rashi over there says there was a cave that went from his palace till all the way to Yericho, and he fled through that cave. Kodesh Baruch Hu had a deer follow them, and the Babylonians followed that deer. And when they got to the opening of the cave in Yericho, they caught Tzidkiyahu and they put him into prison. And that's how in Yechezkel it says, Ufarashti esrisi alav nispas b'mitzudasi. That Tzidkiyahu was captured at that time by the Nebuchadnezzar people. Here it says in Pasuk Hey, Vayirdefu chel kazdim achar hamelech. They chased ve'asigu oto barvot Yericho. They found him in the plain of Yericho, v'kol chelo nafotzu me'alav. And his soldiers scattered. Vayispesu es hamelech. So they bound him. Vayalu oto hamelech bavel rivlasa. Nebuchadnezzar was hanging, had been to Yerushalayim, but because the siege lasted for so long, Rivla is near Syria. So he left his army in the siege, and he went up to Syria, because it was cooler there. And he was in Rivla. So they now brought Tzidkiyahu HaMelech to Rivla, Vaydabru ito mishpat. And that's where the final judgment to Tzidkiyahu is going to be rendered. In Sanhedrin, Tzadik Vavo Mebeis, it says, Lo Allah Nebuchadnezzar Yerushalayim. Really, there's no stira. How can you say, because they ask a question, how can you say he's in Rivla? It says Nebuchadnezzar came to Yerushalayim. Ba Nebuchadnezzar Melech Bavel. Hu v'kol chilol Yerushalayim. So the Gemara there recognizes there's a problem. So there it says, Elamasha Omer Ba Nebuchadnezzar Melech Bavel, it was Nebuzradan who sha'ala. He had a general called Nebuzradan, and he's the one who came. He looked exactly like Nebuchadnezzar. It's almost like a stunt double. And, I'm sorry. Udmus diukno shel Nebuchadnezzar hayta chakuka lo b'merkavto. There was a picture of Nebuchadnezzar engraved in the chariot of Nebuzradan. So it looked like he was there. And the fear of Nebuchadnezzar was there, as if Nebuchadnezzar was standing outside of Yerushalayim. Now, what is this mishpat that was conducted by Nebuchadnezzar with Tzidkiyahu? So this we know from the Psikta Rabasi, which is also Midrashim. Achzu lo ula eser banav. They took Tzidkiyahu and his 10 children. V'shalach otam Nebuzradan etzel Nebuchadnezzar. And Nebuchadnezzar sent Tzidkiyahu and his 10 sons to Nebuchadnezzar. V'omar lo emor leTzidkiyahu mara yisa limrod alai. He asked him, why did you rebel against me? If it's because your God commanded you, number one, you took an oath, it was false in the name of Hashem. And in B'dinei Malchus, if it's just, war, you're a king and I'm a king, and also, if somebody swears to a king and goes against that, it's chayav to be killed. Yirmiyah in the Malbim in Sefer Yirmiyahu says that he only talked to him about the fact that he rebelled against him. Unfortunately, we're going to have to close with a bad pasuk. Ves bnei Tzidkiyahu shachatu le'inav. His 10 children were shechted in front of his eyes. Ves einei Tzidkiyahu iver, and they blinded Tzidkiyahu. Vayasrei ban chushtayim. And they put him into chains, copper chains, Vayivyeu Bavel. And Tzidkiyahu HaMelech was taken to Bavel. Now, I'm going to hold off on giving all the explanations of this pasuk until next week. But
Next week, last week. of this-
don't know. Not sure whether we will have one more week or 2 more weeks. There's a lot to say about the rest of this period.
Next week, it's going to be the time change. So it's going to be, the Shabbos is only going to be out
Okay, so we'll have to go to 9 o'clock, like we used to.
No, Sunday. Why not
Sunday.
Sunday?
Sunday.
We'll go to Sunday.
Okay,
Sunday.
okay, Sunday at 8 o'clock.
All right.
9 o'clock, we're all in bed.
Say again?
9 o'clock, we're all in bed.
Okay, let's do it Sunday. We'll do it Sunday.
I'm not all in
o'clock.
bed at
We
9
got here.
o'clock.
Sunday,
Saturday
8 o'clock.
night, why not?
Okay.
Whatever.
What was that?
I said it's Saturday night. What else is there to do? We don't go to the movies. They're not like they used to be.
I guess Harold's at that age, you know.
Yeah.
Harold. Maybe we can still do 9 o'clock until the time it gets.
Whatever you guys decide.
Yeah, it's fine, 9 o'clock.
9
But we
o'clock
do-
is, 9 o'clock's okay?
Okay.
with the big
Yeah.
pictures,
Let's
Oh,
carry on
We'll
doing
start off Shabbos, Motzei Shabbos, 9
And if it
o'clock.
doesn't
I
work,
think
then
Motzei
we'll say.
Motzei Shabbos works for most people. There's less activities scheduled Sunday night.
Right.
Weddings, there's this, there's that. We'll see when it may get so
Right.
late that we may have to do it. We may have to.
now Harold wants to make it at 10
no,
o'clock.
Esty wants 10 o'clock.
I think that's.
What?
I
I was
think that's-
sleeping already. Sorry.
Harold, you're getting carried away now with yourself. Let's
fine.
keep it. Let's
Okay.
keep it.
Two
Yeah,
things I want to say.
Oh, both
First of
tomorrow,
all,
okay.
Freilich Purim to everybody.
Thank
Number
you.
two, starting Monday, March 10th, everyone should go to voteoic.org. Or Orthodox Israel Coalition.
Start with
So that's every 4 years, there's a vote for the World Zionist Congress.
You are part of the
And
Jewish
the
people.
Religious Zionists of America, the Mizrahi, are together with Yeshiva University, with OU,
Turo.
with Young Israel, with Turo College, with
Amit.
Emuna Women, Amit Women, Bnei Akiva.
Oh, wow. Not Eretz Hakdosha? What
No,
about
Eretz HaKodesh is a different party. Eretz HaKodesh is part of the Haredim. You know, they were never, they first formed the party in 2020. And they're also trying, because there's a lot of funding available.
Right,
Yeah,
right, yes.
but their kids, we go to the
Our
army,
kids go to the
we do
army.
everything for Eretz
Right.
Israel, and that's why we take stuff, and that's why how we machanech them. Eretz HaKodesh has nothing to do with that. They just purely you know. And anyway, I don't want to say anything on that.
Right.
No, But just say, as part of the Jewish people,
Go
that
ahead.
was important what you said, that we all
We're all citizens,
of the Jewish.
all
people-
Jews. It costs $5. You go to vote OIC. You do this every 4 years, but you are, as being a Jew, and you're above 18 years old, you have a right to vote as part of the Jewish people all over the world. People all over the world are voting. So and you should get your kids above the age of 18
And
to vote.
spouses.
Eh.
Everybody who's, not just one person. It has to be
Yeah,
everybody in the family.
Family, it's not just one household. You can get 5 votes per household. And it's really important because shlichim, money that's sent for Torah and education outside of Chutz La'aretz and
Also for
and
all
in
these
Israel
also for
and
all these
soldiers and programs and things like that. So it's very important to participate. This is an opportunity for you to participate. So I certainly encourage everyone to do it.
It's slate number 5
Slate number 5.
that we want to
Get
go
to
to.
Go
OIC.
oic.org. www.oic.org. You can do it Monday, is the first time, on March 10th. And I'll remind you every week. We'll remind ourselves to do it.
Do it now.
I think you have to write voteoic.org.
Correct.
Oh,
Yeah,
Vote,
vote
I'm sorry.
OIC there.
voteoic.org.
Slate number 5.
Late number 5.
Okay.
Okay.
Shavuot tov.
Okay, thank you, Shabuka. Thank you.